the governor of Imo State. In strengthening the unity in our diversity, our constitution must reflect our shared values and aspirations, not create loopholes for division. I made this clear while speaking at the Southeast Center B public hearing, Imo and Abia State, of the review of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, held at the Eze Imo Palace Auditorium, Owerri. Top of my address was a call for the creation of 2 additional states in the Southeast. Please, guys, we're getting into some of those major stuff that made the headlines over the weekend. It says here, top of my address was the call for the creation of 2 additional states in the Southeast. This, I believe, is a matter of equity and a necessary step towards accelerating development in the region. I emphasize the strategic consideration of at least 1 new state falling within the oil-producing axis to facilitate access to developmental resources and infrastructure. I also advocated for a reinstatement of a vital democratic tradition, one practiced in our early republics, whereby any Nigerian born in a state or who has lived there for over 10 years with good conduct should be granted indigenous status and its attendant benefits. For lasting political balance, I propose that the 6 geopolitical zones be constitutionally recognized in the zoning of the presidency, replacing the current North-South arrangement. This will foster national inclusion and ease political tensions during presidential elections. Finally, I emphasize the urgent need for state policing to address localized security threats and better safeguard citizens. In my appeal to the National Assembly, I highlighted our commitment to the Federation and our collective progress in unity. Hope, Uzodinma. Everywhere I look in this statement, all I see is contradictions. You want 2 additional states for your region. I'm still wondering when they're going to create that state, or those states, considering the fact that the entire region is the size of your state. So I'm wondering, you see, when we talk about this idea of going into other people's spaces and taking it over, and people say, oh, why are you talking like this? The idea that so you want to have more states in your region, but you want to have state of origin abolished, or people should just become indigenous after traveling, knowing full well that you are the ones who move everywhere. In other words, this is about you. It's about selfishness. Meanwhile, the same folks hate the idea of Fulani people living and saying they are indigenous to Igbo land. You saw what happened here last week with the gentleman who came up here to tell me they should be able to do whatever they want to do. And I asked him, what would you feel like to have a Fulani caliphate or an emirate in your region? And then the person was like, why not mention Yoruba? Why not mention Rivers? So why can't you tell me something about the Fulani? Are they not human beings? Are Fulani not Nigerians? This thing you see, when we say that the political architecture of the East is built around the same mindset of what happened in the 50s and 60s from their region, you will think, oh, are you hating on people? It's not hate. We are telling you that nothing has changed. And I've said it several times, it's not just for them, even for us. All of us are products of the prevailing political ideology of the 1950s and 1960s in our different regions. And you've got to know that, so that you don't get to the point where you're just angry, because you assume that people should be on the same page as you. And that's why I tell people, like, when you say things that you want, know what the other person also wants, because for the most part, all the let's unite together, it's nonsense. Because at the end of the day, the person is looking for ways to take what is yours. How on earth do you want to have the same right as an indigene after living there for 10 years? How on earth? So what does it mean to be indigene? The word gene, G-E-N-E, is literally in that same word indigene. It's one of the words that you put together to form indigene. There has to be some connection ancestrally to that space. You can't become an indigene after 10 years. And what I'm saying that let's just pack Kanuri and Hausa and Fulani to Imo, and the same Imo state, this governor is not the one that did it, but it's the same state where they burnt National Open University just because they want to bring IDP into the East, into Imo state. Based on a rumor that they're going to bring IDPs into Imo state, they burnt down a university, but that same state is asking that they want to become indigenous to other people's spaces after staying there for 10 years. How now? It's not going to work. it's a demonic idea because it disrespects the owner of the ancestral owners of the land. And the truth is that where you are from, you are also very connected to your land. You hold it dearly. You hold it. You don't let anybody touch it. And you should. But to expect, and by the way, so when I say that these things that you're hearing is not just from one person, everybody's like, oh, he's Benjamin Kalu, is the one that pushed the bill. It's not just him. It's an ideology. It's the mindset of the average Easterner. I know, I'm not telling people to change their mind. I'm just saying that whatever you are thinking, do it in your region. Ask for it in your region. Like, let's see how it can go. Not to come and try it elsewhere. And you see, if it's a Yoruba man pushing this idea, it will even make sense. You're literally running away from home and you're telling everybody else that wherever I get to, I must be able to make that my home after living there for 10 years. One second, guys. So you leave home, make it unlivable, and I'm not even the one who said it. I'm going to play you something from Yororomboro. By the way, what that means basically that somebody that shares the same thoughts. And the truth is, it's not going to work. If you really want to open your place up for everybody to come and take every place, do it. Every single time we're talking about development and moving forward and constitution, people find a way to insert the same ideas of the unitary of the same unitary idea into everything we're doing. They just find a way to insert it. We are all one. We want unity. That's not unity. That's stealing. And good conduct doesn't make you an indigene. It's not enough. As long as you hold on to where you're coming from, you will never become an indigene of the space. It's common sense. Oh, if you have lived there for 10 years and they've had good conduct, who cares? If you like, be jumping up and down. It doesn't mean that you have now become an indigene of the space. Like, do people even know what it takes to become indigenous? You have no connection with the land. You don't care about the people. You don't care for their culture and their traditions, but you want to become an indigene of that space. Imagine a Fulani man says that about Enugu or Imo State, where this gentleman governor is from. What would he say? Let me play something from Kiloroko Omo Igonsef. Mbo. And every right-thinking person, especially for Yoruba, should be against this thing. Don't let people, bamboozle you with it. It's a way to get unity. In fact, before I even go to that one, number one, let me play you something. Let me play you a video.
And here we tell me when I just stay na iPhone na the whole thing na bu. Ke ko nya Abakaliki si we bia loan on a village n'Umoji ebe ano. Why na I know na no kon wine. Eh?
Sunday shade.
Igbo iwe kene mu unu. Ebe nno na bu Umoji. Yata. O nwere izi wine ji bia ebe a. Obi adoro m mma. Yata. Ye mo no obi adoro mma bu ime poor privilege intimidate. Bi eme hate. Yata go. So ya menji we bia back muna one name one and also the owners of the land and also the agents. Yotago. So until can see what this information bo MC Mbeke Patrick 101 tag him na the video the thing with him so share na my page yota so money also we be eba ya wasi Edo state yota man na nga ba ile ba so that justice ya pataile yotago. So intimidation one thing I hate in this my life. So can I no go do from onu ndem bia befa. I want them why.
Welcome.
We are now from the thing with them. And also intimidation but one thing I hate in andoma. You may mad intimidate ne kale yam one ki ajidego. Yata. You hate in andoma. Yata. So iya na kita na. Ke it's not in a court yeah. Ke onye okwu di n'ọnụ na like onu aka na aju aju ko the main person na drag ana.
The lady is from Ebonyi State. She bought land in Umoji in Anambra State. Some people from Umoji demolished her house. because they said, how can an Abakaliki person come and build a house in their community? This unity you are always looking for in Nigeria, why not start it at home? Like, it's not even easier? I don't understand this thing. So they demolished a building because she's Abakaliki and she has built a house. This is what they are saying. That's the video. They are speaking Igbo, but that's the summary of what they are discussing. I'm just wondering that if people want, it's good to have unity. Like, it's a fantastic idea, but why not start it at home? Why would you think that you have not been able to agree amongst yourself who is who? You will now be the one to move out of your space and become an indigene in those places. And then let me tell you, in fact, just in case you are Yoruba and you're wondering what's all the Ulabalu about, let me tell you something. Once you make it about, anybody can live anywhere, I'll tell you what's going to happen. I'm not mentioning any ethnic group. Let's say A has let's say 20 people and their land can only take not so many people. Let me just put it that way. B has 10 people living in a larger space than the A's A space. A then moves, just an example though, A then moves the 20 people into B space, or you know what, even if A moves 15 people into B space, A becomes the majority in B space. A can then decide, say we're doing democracy, decide to vote and choose the people that will rule that space. The people that will rule that space based on what A wants may not care for the uniqueness, right, or the peculiarities of B space. So for instance, they might decide to choose the governor who doesn't like the idea of their kings or all these their traditional practices and removes it. Let me give you an example. In Yoruba land, there are all kinds of religions, right? I'm a Christian. There are Muslims. There are traditional worshippers. There are atheists. There are other religions that are not so popular, but they are present in Yoruba land. We're not a theocratic state, right? It's not. Yoruba land is a secular state. Any religion you are free to do whatever you want to do. It's not perfect, but everybody can, you can have your own freedom of expression. There are some parts of Nigeria where they choose a particular religion. They move into your space, turn your space into where they are coming from. And then after a while, whatever it is that makes your place tick is lost because the person has imported whatever it is. And let me say something. You cannot be more than who you are, regardless of where you go. If a person's mindset cannot develop something, can only pull it down, when it goes to a developed place, it will not work until it's pulled down, because that's what makes him comfortable to work in. The point is that every region, every space has different cultures. Your culture is a certain way. I'm not saying it's good, I'm not saying it's bad, but I don't want it to come into my space to dominate the place, because I can't say anything now, because who is an indigene? Everybody is an indigene. So 1 billion people from your place can come into my space, take over. And by the way, if you're a minority, if you are, and minority is an insult, it just means that you don't have so many numbers. If your numbers aren't that, plenty like that, big like that, and you're Nigerian, you're supporting this kind of thing, you are the one they will take over first. Thank you, Rewaju. Everywhere becomes no man's land. I can go anywhere and do anything I like. After all, and let me say something. There are things we don't do in Yoruba land, not because they are not criminal or illegal. So there are things that you do. You don't do everything you do because they are legal. There are things you do regardless of the fact that they are legal or not. Regardless of the fact that they are legal. In other words, you don't act based on legality. You act based on culture. What it means basically is this. Of course, you have to do lawful stuff, right? The things you do have to be legal. You don't go around, committing atrocities and doing illegal things. But what I'm saying is that there are people who will do anything in your land as long as it is legal. I'm not even talking about the legal part. That one till day. People who will do anything they want to do as long as it is legal. Now, the point is that how about those things that are not expressly stated in the constitution, but they are culturally relevant to you as a people? And since you are judging everything based on what's in the constitution, what's the constitution, you can do anything you like. Just say, after all, it's legal. There's a group of people I know, not there are a number of people I've found in Nigeria. I mean, there are human beings everywhere who can be like this. There are Yoruba people who can be like that. But I've also seen like whole groups who will use the law. And it has happened. It has happened. I don't want to use any example, because if I mention the example, you know the group I'm talking about. But there are many examples. They will use that law to get what they want, although what they want will not benefit the collective. That's the problem. It's not about, oh, why are you saying this? Are we not one? We are one, but we are different. I cannot go to my brother's house now and tell him that I determine what runs in his house, because after all, we're born in the same house. Doesn't matter. He's the head of his own family. I'm the head of my household, but we work together on things that are, I mean, I can go to his place and help him. He can come to my place and help me. We are like that, but it doesn't mean that we now make ourselves into this. I say that, you know, people assume that Nigeria is a melting pot. It's not a melting pot. Nigeria is a salad bowl. We're in the same bowl, but we are all different. It's not the idea of everything has melted together, we have become one. We have not. And if you really want to become one, then become Yoruba. Lose everything you have. If you are against what I just said right now, don't come up with an indigenation nonsense. Come to Yoruba land, lose your identity. Forget your native name, forget your culture, become Yoruba, then I will agree that we are one. Until then, don't use oneness to bribe or to blackmail people. That's not oneness. What you want is this. You are coming, and I'm talking generally speaking, you're coming from a place where you have scarcity. You're coming from a place where you have less of many things. I'm not mentioning any ethnic group, it's just the point. You are coming from a place where you have less of everything. You want to move to a space where they have a lot of stuff, but you want to take advantage of that thing as though you were indigenous to that space, even though your great grandfather and your did not have any input in the development of that place or the building of that place. That's not how it works. Which is why we eventually, something has to give. Number one, that law will not work. Number two, a structure that allows for people to understand boundaries has to be created. You know why? Certain people will not see anything until it is written in the law. In other words, don't cross this place. So maybe it's the regional governments that will do it, state governments or the federal government. Something has to be written. Maybe it's going to be based on regionalism, whatever. Because even a developed mind doesn't need the law to act right. A developed mind does not need the law to act right, especially in cases where it's just commonsensical for you to know exactly what to do when you move to other people's spaces. But only one group, actually there are two, but one is bold enough to canvass for it at the highest levels. I'm talking in political terms, whether it's at state level or at the federal level, you are canvassing for removal of because if you say that I can become an indigene after 10 years, it means that there's no indigene. There's nothing called indigeneship. So I don't want to be, by the way, say, oh, my name is Busui, I'm from Kafanchan. No. Oh, but it's in the US, which is where I want to end this thing. You see, a lot of people have this American thing in their minds. Like, oh, but in the US, you can move. America is a settlers colony. And settlers colonies naturally thrive on the annihilation or elimination of the indigenous people. In other words, what you are seeing in America right now is happening because those who own the space originally have been displaced. And now they are in reservations. They're in reservations. We have to thank God they are treated right now. I mean, they have things for them, whether it's in the US and Canada, the First Nations, and meanwhile, even US and Canada understand the idea of indigeneship or indigeneity, which is why they give them a special place, regardless of what has happened in the past. You can't just move to the reservation as a person and say, Toluwanile, I can move anywhere. Like, they will tell you exactly where you are from. Why is it that in Canada they're always talking about the indigenous people? But for me, even that is not what I want, because as far as I'm concerned, it's like tokenism. So I don't want to have to lose something and then begin to fight for recognition and respect. How about not lose it at all? Especially to a group who is not even more, who is not more powerful or as powerful as I am. You can understand what happened in America. A superior group. I mean, when I say superior, in terms of weaponry and warfare, they had, and then they also had some crazy stuff, up their heels, up their sleeves, and they did what they wanted to do to the indigenous people. Then they took over the place. Even those ones could not use the law to just do it. They had to conquer. You can't use the law to own people's spaces where you're not indigenous to. And there's nothing like they do it in America. Number one, in America, you had a more powerful group who had more weaponry and conquered the place. You cannot conquer anybody. And I don't think anybody even wants to think in that direction, because there's nothing good coming out of it. We've gone through this path. I mean, we went through this path in the 60s. That's the reason the Midwest was overrun by Biafran forces. That's the reason Ojukwu sent his people, including Victor Banjo, to enter into Yoruba land. It wasn't to help anybody, it was to expand. You couldn't. You will not. So let's leave conquering on one side. So you can't do what America did. Number two, whatever America did, that connection, by the way, that what they did back then, even that has changed over time. But generally speaking, this is not a settlers colony. This is not, in English, there's a word in German, there's a German word for it that Hitler used at the time. In English, it's called living spaces. That's not going to work. Yeah, it's Lebensraum. The way German word sometimes, that's not going to happen in Yoruba land. So what we should do is let everybody respect themselves and their ancestors. I am a stranger in Kano. Nothing. Lebensraum, Lebensraum, living spaces. I remember the English one. The idea, I mean, by the way, they did it. Hitler did it. Did it in parts of Poland. Did it in Eastern Europe. The idea was to eliminate 60 million people so they can move their own people into that space. There's not. I told myself that I won't go deep into that particular topic today. But some people's actions, it's as if they are reading Hitler's manifesto or Hitler's blueprints, which, by the way, is available. If you want, let me. There's a book, Mein Kampf. I mean, please be strong to read the book, okay? So that you're not taking everything, but at least you're trying to understand where people are coming from. When you read the plans, I mean, not today. The point is this: certain people act as if they are reading Hitler's blueprint and they're trying to reenact it, but they can't do it the way he did it, but they want to find a way to do it. Therefore, they will now use the law. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Nobody's going to take anybody's land. I don't want to take your land. That's a beautiful thing. If I was saying that I want to take yours, but don't take mine, it could be like say it's bad. But I'm saying I don't want what's yours. Leave what's mine to me. If you now say you want what's mine, it means you are a thief. Respectfully. There's no place in Nigeria that is not blessed. There's no state in this country that is not blessed. Some states, I've said this before, in human resources, people are blessed. In material resources, there are states that have as much as 10 mineral resources that are of commercial quantity. Why not embrace what God has given you? Why do you have to want to be part of other people's spaces? Because you have a nomadic mindset. Why can't I just come to your house, enjoy your hospitality, stay with you, but know my boundaries? I can do that. You should be able to do the same thing. Once you start asking for indigeneship rights in my space, it means you are going beyond boundaries. It's just this thing is actually quite simple to understand. I don't know why it's so difficult. And by the way, this is not a Yoruba thing. It's what you find in every ancestral space across Europe, across Asia. You will see this across Africa. And it is only Africans who, for some weird reasons, and maybe, half education is worse than being ignorant. It's better to be ignorant than to be half educated, because you will think you know something. This American explanation of people, any small thing US, any small thing US. My question is, do you want to do what US did in that place? Every place you find ancestral people where they live in their own land, they do not mess with their land. Now you understand what the minorities went through in the Eastern region in the 50s and 60s. Now you get it. Now you get it. It's not today's topic, but I assure you, when we are done with I was going to do that last week, but I changed the stuff, because I felt we should study the person of Awo himself. But we're going to get into those things. You will see exactly what those people went through in the hands of certain people. Moved en masse into those people's spaces, told those people's spaces that they all own the place. Especially once Biafra started. When you see people from River State act the way they do, like now, there's a letter that they wrote to the governor, to the Inspector General of Police, saying that they don't want to have Igbo festival in Port Harcourt. When you see that kind of thing as a Yoruba person, and you're like, these people are bad, they're not good Nigerians, you don't understand their history. Sit down, be humble, and listen to them. When you see people shout, I'm not this is my ethnic group, I'm not that ethnic group, in Delta State, in River State, and you're looking at them and like, oh, why can't we just do one Nigeria? You don't understand. You think everybody is like you. That's why you are thinking that way, and you are okay to think that way, but you are not knowledgeable enough about Nigeria's history. Anybody who has studied a tiny bit, don't read many books, just a few pages of Nigeria's history. If you just read a little bit, you would not want what they're asking for. And this is the kind of things that lead to war. And I'm praying to God that will not have that kind of thing in Nigeria, in Jesus' name, because it's this kind of thing, like, I can come into your space. What do you think led to the killings in the north in 1966? It's things like this. And again, don't we learn from history? Are we going to repeat the same mistakes in every generation? I've been to Anambra. I think it's actually quite nice, especially on Onitsha. Quite nice. Abagana, Oboluafo. I've enjoyed my time. I've been to Owerri, been to Enugu, been to Aba, Aria, all those places. I can just come, enjoy myself, and go home. I don't have to own the place. I'm buying land in a place does not make you the owner of the land. You get, I've said it every time, I'll say it again. When you buy land, what you get is C of O. That C of O is not certificate of ownership, it's certificate of occupancy. You have a right to occupy the place. It is not yours in perpetuity. That C of O will eventually expire, and it has expired before. In fact, when we have that session, I'm going to give you examples of many C of O's that have expired in Nigeria. Many. And those examples are not hard to come by. They are everywhere. You are not the owner of the land. You are the occupant of that land. And it is dated. And I think at some point, is actions like this that make you change street names? But that's not the only thing that can be changed. Many things can still be changed. What about if you stay there for stay there for 1,000 years? As long as you make yourself user, let me answer your question. Say, what if I've stayed there for 100 years? Even if you stay for 1,000 years, as long as you're not part of those people, you are not indigenous to that space. It is not about longevity. It's about integration and assimilation, not about longevity. You can stay in the moon for 1,000 years. Does that mean that you now have the body that will not float? Do you suddenly have celestial bodies because you are staying in the moon? As long as you hate the idea of integrating and assimilating, you cannot become an indigene. Period. Anyone, say seriously, where are you from? Because you don't have your name. I don't think you're bold enough to show your face. You can't even have your name. You're writing user all over the place with numbers. Say seriously. Are you from an underdeveloped culture? If you want to become part of a people, you have to become part of the people. It's actually quite simple to understand, though. You know what? Let me spend some time on this. Oh boy, it's past 3. It's not difficult, though. So let's say, for instance, I come into your space. Your culture is not developed. If you are saying seriously, you are from a very, very underdeveloped, if not retarded culture. If I go into your space, I have two options. In fact, I have three. I can decide to do my thing, carry my bag and go for Christmas and come back. Like, I'm not part of you. I don't care about what you are doing. I don't care about your culture. I don't really care. And there's nothing wrong with that. As long as I'm not asking for things I'm not entitled to. I come to your land, Shadra and Shami, Noroshoshi, Vashadra and Shami, Onkakodemalo. So you pray, you do your stuff, I do my stuff, I take my stuff, I go back home. I am Yoruba, and that's fine. We are part of you people, sir. My grandpa and mom speaks fluent Yoruba. We've been here since 1950. If you like, be here since 1,000 years ago. You are not Yoruba. And the fact that you actually said what you said is actually the reason you should never ever call yourself like you're part of who. If you are part of us, you will not think, guys, this is a perfect example. My parents have lived there since 1950. My grandparents can speak Yoruba, therefore we are part of you. You don't determine how the people of the land will mention any group. When people go to people's land, you don't give them the terms, which is what Ojukwu did to Ejo, giving the terms or how they're going to have their oil consortium. The more you look at history, the more you guys are just repeating the same mistakes. Why are you like this now? You come to my land, you now be the one to imagine. I go to the United States and I'm telling them I've lived there since 1950. So you don't become a citizen or an indigene of a place based on how long you have stayed with them. They have a process. Every culture has a process of assimilation. Any sensible person would understand this simple thing. Every culture has a system of assimilation. For the US and even for Nigeria, as far as assimilation is concerned, we call it naturalization. For indigenous people, it's called indigenization. And it doesn't happen based on paper. You don't become a citizen in America because I've been there for 50 years. How come you have a lot of people being deported after living in America for 30, 40, 50 years? They've been there for so long. How come you're going to tell them they're not from there? They've been in the US. User, since you don't have a name, user, why is America deporting? Why does the United Kingdom, for instance, deport people? Because they came illegally. You're not getting it. Your point is about longevity. It's not about how they entered. Who knows whether you came in illegally? Maybe you did something before you came in. I don't know. So I don't even want to know how your grandparents got to Lagos. That's not my business. I'm saying if you're using longevity as the basis of your argument, then I can stay long in the US and claim I'm a citizen. Even a legal person that broke the law can be deported. Absolutely. What happened to the Caribbeans in the UK? Listen, you guys are not exposed to life outside just that your 4x4. Listen, and I'm trying not to mention any group apart from the clown who came here to say, why do you hate Igbos? Why would I hate Igbos? Why would I hate Igbos? Are you not a human being? Do you not understand what I'm saying? What is the hate in what I'm saying right now? Does this not even protect Igbo land? Should the Fulani also come and do, by the way, you guys hate, I don't like, the word hate is too heavy. You guys will not do the same thing, would do the same thing for Fulani, for instance. Imagine Fulani man come, what am I saying? But your man cannot do it in Anambra. What is Fulani? Shebi is the video we just played just now. A woman who bought her land and built in Umoji in Anambra State got her building demolished. And a Ebonyi woman got her building demolished in Anambra State. Forget Fulani. Forget Yoruba. Let's be serious. Do I get what? I can't get anything you're saying because you're not making sense. Every culture determines, because Lagos is a metropolitan state. 1 second to you. This is the last time I'm going to engage. This is the last time I'm going to engage you, and then I'm going to mute you because you have no name. If you want me to talk to you after this, you have to come with your account because right now you're looking to me like a coward. So let me answer you. Yoruba people did not curse you. Akola Shekwe for Bekoman in metropolitan area. So when you say things like because Lagos is cosmopolitan, that cosmopolitan nature that you see in Lagos, some people created that thing. Why can't you create the same thing where you come from? You know why? You lack the capacity. And I'm not mentioning any ethnic group because any ethnic group who talks like this and say Lagos is metropolitan, Ibadan was Lagos of the 70s. Ibadan is actually still metropolitan. Kano, God bless you, Kano is metropolitan. How come you clowns don't say the same thing about Kano? There are markets in Kano that have existed since the 15th century. I was reading about that last week. I was like, wow, because they did this unveiling last week. In Kano, you won't hear this thing in Kano. You know why? Because Kano knows how to deal with you. We are the ones speaking English. Who will speak English? Thank you, yesterday. Thank you so much. Kano will just deal. I mean, they know how you know how they will deal with you, so you don't bother. My question is, do we have to get to that in Yoruba land? You don't know how painful this is. It's like a cycle. Like a people cannot break out of a vicious cycle. You just keep repeating the same mistakes, repeating the same rhetoric, the same thing that caused people to die. You repeat it, you say it, you taunt people, you tell them you have a right, you show your entitlement, you curse them out, you tell them you have a right, you do all these things, and then you don't know that you're going to have the exact same result. Is it good result? It's bad. Me, I'm feeling bad for you. Must what happened in the north happen in the west for you to get it? Because that was the only time you ever got it in the north. Because right now, there's no body born of a woman amongst these people that are insulting me in the comment section that will ever go to Kano and say the same thing there. Why? Because you know what happened in the north in 67 to 7, between 67 and between 66 in a couple of months. It's not even a year. Just taste in May and deeper stuff in August. You know what happened? And then September was mad. This is 1966. Since that time, to be 60 years next year, since that time, you have never misbehaved in the north. Must that happen in the west? Must that happen in south? Must that happen everywhere? We are not enemies, sir. We love Yoruba. We came to Lagos to work because of its metropolitan nature. Work now. What's your name? You have a name. Let me talk to you. Mr. Sean O'Brien. See, you come to Lagos. You have come to Lagos to work because it's a metropolitan area. God bless you. So work, prosper, do well, make money, thrive. I want you to succeed. And then that's it. Don't tell me you are not owning the land with me. From where to where? That's the problem. I'm not saying you should not be in Lagos. Of course you should be in Lagos. You're a Nigerian citizen. You should be able to move anywhere you like. As long as you have enough common sense to know how to behave when you get to those places. So what's the issue? Can you explain? No, I'm not going to be the one to explain it. Go and read what Uzodinma and Senator and the House of Rep member Kalu, what they are pushing. To become an indigene in another person's land after living there for 10 years. It's insulting, especially knowing that you don't have something that I want. If it's going to be reciprocal now, maybe it will even make sense. Because I don't want it. But I bless you. May God bless you. May God increase you. And then lastly, how about thinking of creating that same metropolitan area that Lagos is? How about creating the same thing where you are from? It's not impossible. Because Kano has no CO. The last time I checked, is there any new development? Maybe God created C now. Kano doesn't have C. They created that thing centuries ago. There's a hub in Kano. There's a hub in Indigenity is unity, sir. I thought you were a human being. I didn't know you were dumb. Sorry, sir. You call me sir, so I will tell you are dumb, sir. Unity call. Unity that you cannot allow a person to own something in Anambra State. Listen, look at the regions in Nigeria. Kano has the north. Whether it's north central or northeast or northwest, there is some place that they galvanize around, that they come around, like congregate. Right? The southwest has. The south has. Not one, not two. My question is, you should be. It's not like it's not possible. It's not impossible in the east. Now it's possible. I mean, you won't have seeds of greatness in Onitsha. Why not build that place? Why are you telling an Amboyem woman to leave Anambra? We are not one like that. You don't have oneness amongst one ethnic group, but you want oneness among the nation. How about let unity begin at home? What kind of devilish mindset is this? And I'm saying this because, guys, let me tell you the reason I talk like this. You know, I always say it, that the ones I can share is the one I share. When you read some of these things about some of the events that happen when things like this have been brought up in the past, when you read about the consequences, you wouldn't want to see it happen. So you're going to be talking forcefully, as forcefully and as respectfully as you can, to make sure that you don't, unnecessarily hurt people, but also make it very clear that there's only one outcome for what you are doing. Only one. And it's not good. And you keep pushing. Every single generation learns nothing. And by the way, we have to normalize the idea of thinking like an owner rather than thinking like a nomad. Think like an owner. Where you are from, how you want that place to be. Don't think like a nomad. I'm here now, I should be able to take advantage of what is there. How about the people that own the place? Go everywhere you have ancestral people. They fiercely guard what is theirs. And by the way, if there's any group in this country that fiercely guards the ancestral land more than any other group in Nigeria that I know of, is folks from the southeast. And guess what? I think they are right to do so. That's the point. I defend your right to be obsessed about the protection of your space. I think you have a right to do it, and it's good. But guess what? What is good for the goose is good for the gander. Please, I was saying something before this other person, Pakota Sorovi. There are three options. Number one, if I come to your place, I have three options. Number one, I'll just live amongst you, do my business. I'm not trying to, get deep like that. I don't have to even learn your language. There are many people who have been living in the UK for 30 years who can speak sensible English, like few sentences, or big baggy. It's okay. So you come into the place, I speak my Yoruba, I don't care for your native language. Why should I learn your language? I just do my thing. I don't want to integrate. I don't want anything, right? And then when it's Christmas time, I go home and then I enjoy myself. I'm fine. That's good. The second option is I can assimilate into your culture. So you assimilate into that culture. But people will understand why you're assimilating, by the way. So if you do it based on what is your mind, we will know. We will know. We will know. We will know. There are many families in Yoruba land today that went that route. They assimilated until they actually became Yoruba. Many examples. I'm not just in different parts of Yoruba land. Everywhere you look, there are examples. The examples even among Yoruba people who move from one place to another. Let me give you an example. Uncle Tunji Oyelano, his father is Ijebu, he is Egba. How did that happen? I'm even talking within us as Yoruba people. I have families. I have families. Not that I know. I know families who moved from Ife and became Ikpetu. Today they are Ikpetu people, but they are connected to Ife. But they are Ikpetu people. They have become Ikpetu. I'm never going outside Yoruba yet. Within Yoruba, people have moved within. People have moved from Oyo and became part of other towns and assimilated. This is why I said I want to start with the intra relationship before I even talk about, because we are a nation. Yoruba people, we are a nation. So whatever this is difficult for some people to grasp because they never really attained that nationhood. And it's the truth. I'm not mentioning any group again. I mean, at least at this point, I'm not mentioning any group right now. Some people were put together by the British. That's the problem. As Yoruba people will move you can move from one town to another town. And listen, there are people from Ekiti, ancestrally from Ekiti, who are indigenous of Lagos today. There's a process they went through within ourselves. Even within ourselves, we don't just move mad. Within ourselves as Yoruba people, I cannot just stand up and go to any Yoruba place and tell them what they should do. They have to see that I have the interests of that place at heart first. Then they must also see that I'm willing to become part of them. I'm Yoruba, and they know I'm Yoruba. Amongst ourselves, we even have that process, let alone you that we don't know where you're coming from. There are many Yoruba people whose town today, their grandfathers have a different town. I mean, I know many examples. An example in Abeokuta, an example in Ibadan, an example in Ife. People who left, There are people, if not for Nigeria today, you know them, they will be called Ife today. But Nigeria has happened to them because now you have to do all this. Once you get into politics, everything changes. Basharun, of course. Oliole is a descendant of Basharunga. And there's Bariba in there. That's within ourselves. So let's not talk about outside ourselves. Like outside the group. In Isaleko today, they are Kanuri family. They're not Kanuri families. They are ancestrally Kanuri, but they are Yoruba people today. They have become one with us. One of those families, one of the children from those families came up here the other day. That, the connection and how there's a process. Today, they are not Kanuri, they are Yoruba people. They have as much right in Yoruba land as I do. Because they are Yoruba people. Why? Their grandfathers assimilated into Yoruba culture. They are now one with Yoruba. They are not Kanuri. That's assimilation. In other words, you forget where you're coming from. You become this. Yoruba people have done this thing in far away Senegal. The Yoruba groups who migrated to that place and became those people. The idea, if assimilation is difficult for you to understand, again, you are from an underdeveloped culture. So when people talk about these things, sit down, pick a pen and paper, and jot things down. Or like this gentleman, what's the name of this guy? Josh Tufoni. Jot things down. Just write things and learn. It's not by going, I am a citizen. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. There is a process that each culture, even you have that culture. Well, maybe not as developed, but in a way. Again, I'm not mentioning any group. You can make up of that what you want. There are people in Lagos Island. The man, Ladunji, was a Nupe man, even from the name, Takpa. Today, his seed, they are Yoruba people. They are not Nupe people, they are Yoruba. Why? They are assimilated. They are Yoruba people. In the Oriki, you will hear about the ancestry, but today, they are Yoruba people. That's the second option. Third option is to integrate. Integration means that you will learn the culture, you learn the stuff, but you retain where you are from. That will not give you as much as somebody who has assimilated, by the way. E.g., the Yoruba people, fourth generation in Jos, who are Yoruba, who understand the language, who are respected by the people, and they respect those people, and they work together, but they retain their identity. They have not become Langtan or Angas or anything. They are still who they are. They are in Kano as well. And there are some in Kano who have become like the Kano people. Hausa, essentially they become Hausa. Their great grandfather is Yoruba, yes, but they are Hausa today, and God bless them. And then there are some of them who are still Yoruba, but who live with Hausa people, and Hausa know that these ones, they are part of us, although they are still from where they are from. So they have a relationship. It will not be like the assimilated people, because the assimilated people are now indigenous of that place. Those are the three options. You stand alone: isolation, integration, assimilation. You cannot be practicing isolation and be looking for the benefits of the person that's practicing assimilation. You are a thief. That's the truth. Any group who prefers isolation to integration or assimilation should just live and enjoy life and go back home. The rights you are looking for are the rights of those who have, in some cases, as integrated, but in all cases, assimilated. You don't want to go through that route. You are looking to isolate yourself, authorize the owners of the land, but have the same rights with the owners of the land in their land without going through their own cultural process of becoming one of them. Are you joking? That is why when people talk about the one political representation in Yoruba land, I say it every time. You don't care about Yoruba people. You don't care about the land. You curse the land. You call it a zoo. You don't care about anything. All you want is power. When you get the power, I know that power, you're not going to use it to represent me. The power will help you and your people in my land. Therefore, you will never get that power. And guess what? In your land, do exactly what I just said. Anybody who is not humble enough to integrate and assimilate into your culture should not even come close to representing anything close to you. I'll give you another example. When they changed the street names yesterday, last week, one of the names on the street on the boards in Ajeromi Felodun local government in Lagos State, one of them is Daddy Shoki. Daddy Shoki did not assimilate; he integrated. What Daddy Shoki has done is called integration. He has kept who he is, right? But he is also with Yoruba people. Daddy Shoki went through the process of integration. See, some of these things are unwritten rules, but if you have common sense, you will notice. I'll give you another example. Who is even Igbo? This man, Mr. Jude, Oman Corny, Oman Powe Gambai. I don't know if you know him. There's this Igbo man. He grew up in Lawansin, grew up in Lagos. He does Yoruba drama, films, actor. He's Igbo, but he speaks Yoruba really well. Like he calls himself Okoro, Abikini Koton, Shere. That man, that's the definition of yes, the one that sang the Ramali song. That man is the definition of integration, which is why I always say that you will find individuals from certain ethnic groups who understand these things, but as a culture, they haven't risen to that point yet. So it's difficult. It's as if you are doing something to them when you talk like this. God bless you. His name is Jude Chukuka. That man, that's what you call integration. He's Igbo, but he has learned the Yoruba culture. He doesn't denigrate Yoruba people. He doesn't think he's better. He works with Yoruba people. He's amongst us, but he's still separate, but he's not isolated. The guy that sang Buga, Jesse King, is from Benin. Onloko Ijebu Alare, Onloko Buga, Onloko Mr. Kiniko. All these people are no. Jesse King is more or less assimilated, to be honest. The differences are there. If you look at it very well, you will be able to. If you pay attention, you can know who has integrated and who has assimilated. The ones that can represent you, to be honest, are the ones who have assimilated, and then who have second option if opportunity arises. The ones who have integrated, the ones who should never come close to representing the stone on your street, let alone your local government, is the person who is isolated. If your culture promotes isolation, I am not against you. I just think that you should not be thinking you are entitled to the things that only those who have assimilated can get. That's all. So where we are right now, what should be how should we be thinking as Nigerians? I should think like, listen, I'm leaving my home. I'm going to your space. The burden of assimilation is on me. Let me tell you something. If I move to anywhere in Nigeria, let's even leave UK. Let's say I move anywhere in Nigeria. The people of that land do not owe me anything. If I move to Jos now, the folks in Jos owe me nothing. They don't even owe me understanding. Like, let me understand this culture. Let us know where it's coming from. They don't owe me that. I am the one who owes them. I have to learn how they do things. If I see, for example, if you go to Kano and you're greeting people and they're bowing down, I don't come and stand still and say, where I'm coming from, I cannot bow to anybody. No, I learn how they do it in Kano. They don't owe me anything. I'm the one. If they owe me anything, maybe respect, maybe kindness. But guess what? They can not even be kind towards me. Why? They're in their land. They should be kind, but if they're not kind, what am I going to do about it? They're at home. My job is to learn their ways. My job, and you know the funny thing. Let me tell you one very funny thing about this thing. Once people notice, it's a natural thing you see everywhere you go. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever gone to a Hausa man selling suya in Yoruba land? Have you noticed what happens when you say something to him in Hausa? Do you notice that it will give you Jara, it will give you Fisi? Why do you think he's doing that? It's an emotional connection that developed with you in that moment. It may not last for more than 5 seconds, but it developed that thing with you. You just spoke my language, therefore, I'm going to give you Jara. It's natural. If you speak a language to the person, they'll be like, this person is my person. Even though they don't know you from anywhere. They'll give you more. They will say, oh, that's favoritism. God, that's life. It's the way, it's normal. So the question is, if I go to the place and you notice that, oh, I'm acting like I'm one of them, I'm like with them, then it becomes my friend. But once I begin to tell them that I have rights, okay, they will show me left. For Nigeria to grow, the first thing we must all remember in this country is that we are not one people. And that thing I just said right now, it is not divisive. It's actually the most uniting factor in Nigeria. It's the crazy thing about Nigeria. The point I'm trying to make is, the first thing Nigeria needs to be able to develop is the understanding that we are not the same. Once we agree, or it's not even agree, acknowledge that we are different, that's when we can build. All this thing of we're all the same is nonsense. We are not. It's like people just lying to themselves to make themselves feel happy. Oh, we are the same. Oh, we are not. I know, it is fine. We can now say what we want to work on that will be the... So we are uniting based on purpose, not based on identity. Don't erase my identity and come and steal my space because you want to... Because at the end of the day, this oneness, you lose nothing. You gain everything. I'm losing so much for you to gain stuff. So you are using that to gain something. In other words, you are not an honest person. If you are honest, what you will do is you are who you are, I'm who I am. We'll have a project, we'll work on that, we do something great, we can build a fantastic stuff. I build where I'm coming from. Listen, the best way for Nigeria to develop is, number one, we are different. Number two, if everybody expends all this energy in their spaces, if you build your space and it's growing, and I build my space and it's growing, before you know it, we have a fantastic Nigeria. But no, you are not committed to building your space. You are committed to taking over other people's spaces, and you're never committed to building their space. So you only just to take advantage of what they have already. How will your own space develop? That's my question. Why are you not passionate about the growth of your own region? Why? If you grow your space, I grow my space, Nigeria has grown. The development of Nigeria will be based on the development of its constituent units. It's not like it's just going to grow and say Nigeria is great. If you're looking for the stadium in Nigeria where you're going to play football, that is FIFA rated and all of that, FIFA standard, you won't find it in Yoruba land. You have to go to Akwa Ibom. But guess what? From outside, it's Nigeria. But did Nigeria build it? Yes and no. That thing was built by the government of Senator Godswill Akpabio when he was governor of Akwa Ibom State. But what they built it for themselves. But we can all take advantage of it. So if you want to do FIFA anything, we can go and use it. But it's not my own. It belongs to Akwa Ibom. And I'm happy for Akwa Ibom. I don't have to go to Akwa Ibom now and tell them that this field, as long as we are all Nigerians, I should be able to do whatever I want to do. What do you mean? Am I not a Nigerian? No. I did not contribute. Even if I pay taxes, and so what? I still have to have enough common sense to understand the fact that I'm in Akwa Ibom. This is Uyo. This is Uyo. It's not Oyo. It's Uyo. It's not Oyo. It's not Ife. It's Uyo. Then I plug in. And once they notice, which is what I've seen in my own experience, so there are bad people everywhere. But once people notice that you are committed to their own culture, they will embrace you. You'll be shocked at how much love you're going to get. You will be shocked because they will just be like, it's you, man. But you see, this your shoulder pad thing, like, I'm better than everybody. I'm better than everybody. Meanwhile, you don't have anything to be shouting about, but I'm better than everybody. How can you be better than me? In mouth alone. But in reality, you are less. But you want to rule in my space. Because we are one. We are not one like that. But we are one You know what they call unity in diversity.